My name is Festus Keyamo. I'm a legal practitioner. I'm the senior advocate of Nigeria, and I'm the director of strategic communications of the Buhari campaign 2019, and also the official spokesperson.
You have been one of these advocates advocating for President Muhammad Buhari's re-election. You are also the director of his campaign and director of strategic communications. Can you tell us your responsibility and why are you advocating for President Muhammad Buhari?
Well, it's very simple to know why some of us are advocating for President Muhammad Buhari. I personally refer to him as one of the very last of the Mohicans. And when I say one of the last of the Mohicans, I mean that generation of Nigerians, that generation that had some very high ethical standards, that knew at that time what patriotism is all about, what love for country is all about, and those who had the original vision for this country and how this country should go. You remember that in 1985, he brought a different style of governance into the nation body politic at that time. He advocated for strict discipline. He advocated the war against, under the banner of the war against indiscipline at that time. He advocated for high ethical standards in public life, and also in private life. And things were beginning to fall in place at that time. People, even in public places, were queuing up for things. People were queuing up to get into buses, queuing up to buy things, and all of that. So there was a general sense of patriotism that he instigated, that he inspired amongst Nigerians. But what happened? After Buhari was overthrown in 1985, we fell into one of the worst era in this country in terms of institutionalizing corruption. And so we are lucky. I want to tell you this from the bottom of my heart, that we are lucky we still have a President Buhari around who can still come back and reenact that kind of high ethical morals and standards that we desire so much in this country again. What happened was that before 2015, there were certain things that happened in government, the style of governance that became the norm, whereas these things that became the norm were actually things that were abominable. The norm became the fact that once you get into public office and you win an election and you get into public office, you have to share the nation's resources to those who helped you to get into office. You have to apportion offices to them based on the loyalty and they give you and how much they have to recover. So you had a situation where people were given positions just to recover monies they spent for elections. I mean, that was the kind of government we ran before 1985. So it was a skewed, and 2015, it was a skewed it's a skewed system. And then many politicians coming up, many younger ones coming up, many young politicians now began to see politics as from that light. They began to see that was the way of life, that you are joining politics not to serve the country, but to recover, to invest and recover. And it was becoming a tradition and a culture. Already it was. Now Buhari is resetting our brains. What Buhari is doing now is that he's resetting the ethical standards in politics. One, just because you are a governor and you campaign for me, you won't come and start dictating to me what ministry or agency I have to nominate people in order to recover my money, the money I invested in you. Two, you have to open the national treasury in order to run elections, because they had made everybody believe that once the elections are around the corner, then it's bazaar time. Bazaar time, agencies, ministries, departments, they all throw the treasury open. All kinds of schemes are generated to pull out money. In fact, before 2015, close to elections, all kinds of phony contracts are awarded by ministries, department agencies, and these contracts are awarded for the purpose of pulling out money from the system. They will give you the contract, pay you 100% upfront, you take 20%, go and do, they pull out 80% to plough back into elections. So Buhari is telling us that election financing, electioneering and election financing doesn't have to be from the public funds. So he's resetting the ethical standards in governance and public life. And these are the last, like I said, the very set of Nigerians, the generation that understood very well at that time how it should be done. And so he's the very last of these Mohicans. He's the last alive to reset and reshape this country. And like I said, we need him so badly for another 4 years, instead of having the scenario of 1985, where he was overthrown by some carpetbaggers. And the more he was overthrown, they set us back so much. In fact, don't forget that it was those same characters who overthrew in 1985 that led Nigeria on a path to nowhere and ended in the June 12 debacle. It was those same characters. After Buhari, the nation went on a journey to nowhere and ended up in disaster in June 12. And at that time, we went back again to our ethnic enclaves. The problem we are struggling with today is June 12 problem. Because after the June 12, the country was bitterly divided along religious and not especially ethnic lines. And it led to a military coup. The military coup finished, and some part of the country felt that because you cheated us, we had to come back to be president of this country. They gave them the opportunity, and all this ethnic back and forth started again. So Buhari is the last person that had a deliberate plan, a deliberate vision, a deliberate streak of patriotism to set the nation on a path of progress. And then that's why we yearned for him 2015. 2015 was a revolution, was a bloodless revolution. We had to bring him back, but haven't come back. Haven't seen the rots in the system. Haven't seen what the damage they did to the system. He badly needs enough time to reset us on the path of progress again, to reshape our mentalities, to get our course right again, our course to greatness, our march to greatness, before he can take his bow out of public life.
So despite the fact that he is trying to bring Nigeria back on track, there are still people who are trying to undermine his efforts. What can you say on that?
No, you see, it is very obvious there are certain elements who feel that we must not deviate from that reward system that they used to run, this kickback system, this system of patronage system in politics and public life. Those set of people are the people fighting back. They are the ones who feel that it does not benefit them again, that they have to go back to business as usual. They have to go back to the ways they used to do things before. Those are the people now that are fighting back. And guess what? We all have a responsibility. And that is why some of us came out of our shells. If everything was going on well, they were not attempting to gang up against Buhari, I would sit down in my house. I wouldn't do anything. But that little voice that God gave me, that little opportunity God gave me to do some kind of advocacy, it has pushed me out of my shells now to say, look, if we don't give Buhari the kind of protection he deserves, then these people will come back. They will overwhelm everybody and come back and destroy the system again. So you think that Buhari is a superhuman? He's not a superhuman. People just think that Buhari can sort himself out. He will fight for himself. Let me stay home. No. Buhari needs you. Buhari needs me. Buhari needs everybody to speak out now. I have my friends who call me every night, even in civil society, my friends who are radicals, my friends who have always been pro-democracy. They call me every night and tell me what should be. They commend me. They say, look, we have to do it this way, we have to do it that way. And I reply them. I say, you come out and speak too. Don't call me in private and commend me. You know I'm saying what is right. Don't think that your extra voice is important. Come out, speak out, so that the masses out there will be properly guided. Buhari has not gained anything personally from all he has been doing. All he has gained from these people are insults to himself and his family. He doesn't need it. Gowon is enjoying his life in retirement now. Abdulsalam Baboka, they are enjoying their lives in retirement now. So why can't he do this? He came out without gaining money, without gaining anything. Every day they insult his wife, they insult his children, they insult everything. Why is he taking all of that? He's taking all of that for you and for me. That's why he's doing that. It is now time for you and me to fight for him. He needs us badly now. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Let us leave that for another day. Let us cross the hurdle we have in front of us now. God Almighty will take care of another day. Let us cross this hurdle. Tomorrow is pregnant. Today is born already, but tomorrow is pregnant. For every Nigerian, stand up now and fight for this man. This is when he needs us more than anything else. He's not a superhuman being. He's not God. He needs every one of us to stand up and speak out now. Don't be shy to speak out. Don't go behind your room. Don't go behind your curtains and your doors and pray. Only pray for him. Come on, he needs your prayers, but he needs your open support. I'm emphasizing open support. Come out. When you come out openly and support him, you will gain 10 more converts. The 10 more converts will get 20 more converts. And we are going to create a movement. Buhari needs us now. It's not a time to abandon him at all.